We got Jeff Hughes back here on the program. Is going to be finally making his UFC debut coming up here at UFC on ESPN Plus 4 on March 9th. He's going to be taking on Daniel Spitz. Jeff, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Just got done with training not too long ago, so relax.
Well, I appreciate you having me part of your post-fight training today. And you and I talked after you got the UFC contract. Of course, you got that on Contender Series. And I think, when we were talking, it seemed like your UFC debut is going to be, fairly soon after that. But here we are talking about a fight in March. Why did this take so long? I figured you would have wanted to be in there a little bit sooner. Was it on the UFC's end?
Yeah, I don't know. Of course, I wanted to get in there right away, but it didn't work out that way, and it kind of worked out for the better because I've had a lot of time to get better every day, train a little bit harder, get ready for this debut.
For sure. What are some of the things you feel like you've improved on? I'm sure obviously you work on everything, but is there anything in particular you're looking to showcase in this fight?
Definitely been working on my strength and conditioning. I've always had decent conditioning, but I was lacking the strength part, and yeah, we've been hitting the weights pretty hard, and doing a lot of functional strength stuff, and just have fun at practice.
Did you take any time off after the Contender Series win, or was it right back to the gym on Monday?
No, I took like a week, 10 days off or so. I enjoyed it a little too much, but it's part of the game.
Did you ever think you'd be making your UFC debut in Wichita, Kansas, of all places?
No, no, I had no idea. I didn't, I think this is the first time they went to Kansas, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, I never thought that was going to be the debut spot.
How far away is that from Ohio, where you live?
I don't know. I think it's like a 12, 13-hour drive.
Really? Oh, okay. So it is pretty far. I thought I wasn't sure. My geography is terrible. I live out here in Canada. I'm a little bit sheltered. Let's talk about Daniel Spitz though. 6-2 record. How do you feel like you match up against him?
Yeah, I think I match up well. He's long and lanky, but everything else, I think I do a little bit better. I think wrestling and definitely the stand up part. I got to get through his long reach, but after that, like it's my range now. So that's what we've been working on.
And you only have a few more fights than him, but do you feel like your experience will benefit you in this matchup? Because you fought for LFA, you were their heavyweight champion, and then of course you fought on Contender Series as well. He's had a couple fights in the UFC, but some might argue he got into the UFC a little bit early.
Yeah, I think along with that, and I've been fighting since I've been 19 on the amateur level, and yeah, I think it's. But he does have the experience in the UFC, and you never know how you're going to react to the big lights. So I'm kind of excited to see how I react to it.
Have you been training at all with Stipe Miocic? Of course, we haven't seen him since he lost his title in July, but I imagine he's been in the gym and you've been working with him a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Every day we're working together. I mean, every aspect: sparring, grappling, even strength conditioning. Yeah, he's the best training partner to have.
Of course, yeah. Confidence level must be super high. Getting to train with him every single time, and that's something that Daniel doesn't have the benefit of is getting to work with really high level heavyweight like a Stipe Miocic.
Right, and the scary part about him is he's getting better too. And I didn't think it was possible, but yeah, he's getting better. So I gotta keep up with him, and that's a hard thing to do.
When did he get back in the gym after his fight? Like, has he been in there for a couple months now? Because I know obviously he was a dad, and he had the title fight and everything. How soon was he in there after?
It was pretty soon after he healed up, and yeah, so we've been back at it. Probably before I had a fight scheduled, I was there 4 or 5 times a week, and he was there at least 4 times. So and now we're back to almost every day. So.
And I'm sure he's been chomping at the bit to get a rematch with Cormier and everything like that. And any update on him? Anything on the horizon that you know of? Just because we've been wanting to see him get back in there, but obviously it's not just going to be any opponent. He was a dominating champion for a while.
No, I don't know, and that's between him and the UFC and our manager, and I think he deserves the chance to get back in there and get his belt back. But we'll see how that happens.
Who are some of the other bodies you get to work with at Strong Style?
I get to work with Alexa Moore and Chad Kelly, and there's still guys that come in. I know John Vellante comes in, helps me and Stipe out, and there's other guys, local guys. So it's been but lately it's been just me and Stipe and Lexi.
Okay, that makes sense. And how do you structure your camp? Because you've known about this fight for, obviously we're in January talking about a fight in March. How do you go about structuring your camp so you don't get, burnt out or anything like that?
Well, we kind of did like a little pre-camp. We kind of said it's time to go, so we started getting into the motions again, and that's really helped out because now I'm in camp, and this is the best I felt for. I know everybody says that, but this is definitely the best I felt. So,
As a heavyweight, do you have to clean up your diet at all, or do you pretty much eat what you want?
oh, absolutely. I'm bad because I'm not a huge eater, but I like my beer. So if I'm drinking, then I put on the pounds, so and they don't want me to do that. So yeah, I've been watching what I've been eating and definitely quit drinking.
Okay, when was the last beer you had?
When?
Yeah.
I didn't even have one on New Year's Eve, so before that.
Wow, good for you. Okay, yeah, because that, I mean, you got to drink on New Year's, but if you got a fight coming up, or I'm sure you knew a fight was going to come up soon enough, even at that point, because you, if I'm not mistaken, this fight was announced like maybe last week or the week before. How long did you know about it?
Then that was then.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay, so it was that fresh then.
yeah, I knew something was coming up, so it had to at this point.
Any idea who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
My coaches, Marcus Marinelli, Alex Cooper is my boxing coach, and Steve Tracek's my kickboxing coach. Pretty much my life coach. He's been with me forever, and he's the one that's always pushing me to do when I don't want to do it. So it's nice having those three guys in my corner.
How do you see this fight unfolding on March 9th?
I got to go in there, and I can't mess around, and I got to go in there with a good strategy, and I see myself getting the win at the very end. Even if it's not a stoppage, I got to grind it out one way or another.
Is the plan, I guess, to keep as active as possible just because you had a little bit of a gap between your last fight and this one?
Yeah, yeah. I would like, everything goes well this fight. I'd like a quick turnaround, and I want to be cracking that top 15 this year. So, I'm ready for anything they throw at me.
Do you feel like the timing of coming into the division is good just because it looks like the division's going through a bit of an influx right now? You see a lot of the veterans, there's been a lot of movement in the rankings, so to speak.
Yeah, there has been. This is a great time for new guys to come in. I still think this is one of the best times the division's ever been. There's talent top to bottom. Before it was hard to. Sometimes you couldn't even name the top 10 guys. Now, I mean, they're household names. So it's going to be. But this is still a good time to come in. I think everybody is coming in with the intentions on getting that belt. So.
Did you watch The Ultimate Fighter season 28 just because one of your former opponents, Mo Green, was actually on that show?
Yeah, I tried to watch, especially when I knew he was fighting. I haven't really watched The Ultimate Fighter much in the last years, long time. But yeah, I'm happy he's had success from it. So it's nice.
Speaking of having success, we've seen a lot of MMA fighters, or a few MMA fighters, I should say, make that transition to professional wrestling. We had Ronda Rousey, and then, of course, Matt Riddle is the latest one. Is that something that would ever interest you at some point, just as a heavyweight? It seems like that, and you got a personality as well, too. The lights out
Yeah.
there.
Funny thing is that I was at when I was 18 or 17 or whatever, I was at the fork in the road. I could either start training to be a pro wrestler or do MMA, and I'm happy with the choice I've done. But like, I still love wrestling. I still love pro wrestling.
You do, so you keep track of it. Now, when you say you're a fan of wrestling, are you only watching the WWE, or are you watching like New Japan and Impact? Like what's your level of fandom for wrestling?
Well, it's probably now it's not as much because I'm so busy, but like I still love New Japan, and I still go back and like I listen to all the podcasts with the old Bruce Pritchard show and the Eric Bischoff and all those guys, Tony Schiavone. I listen to all those ones, so I like listening to when I was growing up in the '90s and listening to those and watching those. But I still watch WrestleMania every year. I love it. I still nerd out.
Yeah, who are some of your favorite wrestlers right now that are currently competing?
Right now, you got to go with like AJ Styles. That guy's, he's awesome to watch. I like Seth Rollins, and but right now there's nobody that really sticks out as one of my favorite. My all-time favorites: Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. So, but yeah, nobody in the last probably decade has been really jumped out to me.
Okay, fair enough. And if you were to go into wrestling, would you be like a heel or a baby face, do you think?
In real life, I'm kind of a baby face, but yeah, I would definitely be a heel. It's just easier, I think. You get to yell at the fans, and and be a dick. So I like it. That's what I would want to do.
Have you ever attended a WWE event at all?
No, I used to go to the WCW ones.
Oh, you did? Oh man, you're lucky. That would have been crazy back in the day.
I went to two nitros, and the last one I went to is we had the worst seats in the whole place, and they ended up, they're like, hey, do you guys want to go down in the front row? And me and my dad, of course, was like, yep. So it was like the benefit of having the worst seats in the whole house. So it worked out. And I loved it.
Who were some of the wrestlers that competed that night on that show, or that one in particular where you got to go cage side?
It was Ric Flair versus, I think, Lex Luger in the main event.
Okay.
I remember Macho Man was there, and Hogan did a run in. But man, I was so young, I don't remember. I remember those guys.
That's good, man. That's awesome. Well, this is going to be a great card. It's coming up here March 9th. It's UFC on ESPN Plus 4, taking place in Wichita. Like I said, Jeff, always good catching up with you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, you can catch me on Jeff Hughes MMA on Facebook and all the social media outlets, Twitter and all that. Yeah, I just started working with pretty recently as Phantom Fireworks. They're a new sponsor, and yeah, so I'm seeing what that entails, and hopefully I can get a couple more because I need money.